Okay, well here I am back on the case with this BSA A65 engine, and this one is supposedly from a Spitfire Mark IV apparently, although there seems to be a few discrepancies between the contents of the cases and the year the cases are from, and possibly the number on the cases and whatever, I don't know. And we've certainly got an early arrangement for the main bearings with a ball bearing on the drive side, but it's in very good condition. It's a nice Hoffman and I'm leaving it alone. The timing side bush and journal were also in perfect condition, surprise surprise, so I'm leaving them alone as well, and they were on standard size. The big end journals on the crank are at -20 and they're perfect, so we've got some lovely new expensive conrods here and new big end shells to go with them, and they're in there with a cleaned out sledge track. It's turning freely and nicely. I've already covered what I've done to the gearbox, but that's all in there now. And the primary drive is assembled too. I'll just give you a quick look around there. I'm not going to slow the engine around at this point, but I've got the alternator still to fit, but everything else is in position and bolted up. And the oil pump, I took the oil pump apart to check it and see what sort of condition that was in, and there's very little if any wear in that. But interestingly enough, I had to sort of do a selective assembly of the gears when I put it back together to get reasonably smooth and free rotation, by basically taking out a couple of the gears that are driven by their partners and moving them round a tooth at a time until I got the nicest rotation. So obviously there must be a tiny degree of wear there somewhere, but we must be talking microns, not even thousandths of an inch, because it was in very good condition. So I cleaned everything up and put it back together, and that's good to go. I've also got the kickstart quadrant and gear selector mechanism in position, and a new gasket on the timing side, which is stuck on with some gasket compound. And what I'm going to do is the corresponding face that we're looking at and the casing that goes against it, I'll apply grease, and that should mean that if ever this cover needed, the cover that I haven't fitted yet had to come back off, it probably would do so quite easily and cleanly without ripping and tearing a gasket and causing much excess work as someone has to scrape bits of gasket off. And of course it'd be there ready for when the cover's put back on. I learned that with our Royal Enfield racers, whose timing covers are removed quite frequently, and I could get a few years out of a timing cover gasket, and believe me, the timing covers on those were off and on like, well, I'm not going to sort of say anything rude, but yeah, quite a lot. So anyway, I'm ready now to put this, the inner timing cover will go on next, and then pretty much that'll be the bottom end sorted. I've also had a look at the cylinder bores, and they look reasonably good. They've cleaned up okay, and they're on +60. There's a few light marks and whatever, but no excessive wear, nothing nasty, no big gouges in them. But I'm certainly going to need one piston at least, because I don't particularly like the look of that one. So that at the minimum, and a set of rings and gaskets, I think is what we'll be after for the top end, and I haven't even had a look at the cylinder head yet. So there we go. That's just a little update, and that's where we're at the moment. And I'm hopefully going to finish off with putting this inner timing cover on, and then that'll be the bottom end by and large assembled and ready to go.